Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the TFT Perspective. Viewers, there is another news concerning India, and a Sikh representative named Gurpatwant Singh Pannun has basically sued the Indian government inside US in New York. According to the district courts, they have summoned the former Indian intelligence chief, as well as a raw officer, as well as a businessman, and the national security advisor Ajit Doval. So there is another news concerning India and the false flag operation. The Bangladeshi cricket team is visiting India, and there is a strong, presence of Hindu extremist elements inside India that want to create havoc for the Bangladeshi cricket team and create a false flag operation, which might be blamed on other countries, including Bangladesh or Pakistan. We are going to talk about this. We have with us Mr. Wakar K. Korvi. Sir, when it comes to the assassination attempt on the Sikhs for Justice leader inside US, I previously I heard that the US investigated around $100,000 were given to the hitman, and apparently the US security forces squashed that assassination attempt, and they have asked the Indian external agency as well as research and analysis wing to facilitate the US in identifying how the assassination was linked with India. So now the names are also coming up, and what do you suggest this new news coming from US suggests?
I think timings are also very important. Mr. Modi is going to New York to attend the UNGA, and maybe there are reports probably is going to meet Biden. I am not very sure. And at this time, if this news comes out and the case is filed, it's not very easy to do it in USA at international level. One, of course, there is definitely weight in the complaint by Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, who is the head of Sikhs for Justice within US, North America, including Canada, and then also in UK branches. If you recall, I think we discussed it, earlier that there have been assassinations of minority activists outside India.
Yes.
They did it inside, like Gauri Lankesh or Professor Dabulkar, Pansare, and Kulburgi. And outside, mostly they've been targeting Kashmiris or Sikh
Six
leaders.
separatists.
So one was Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was assassinated in Canada. And then Canadian Prime Minister had to come on the floor of the House to say it. Then Five Eyes also carried out investigation. Now, Five Eyes is basically Anglophone countries' intelligence. Mainly it was signal intelligence, but now they have, I think, collaboration. And there are, I think, almost 30 agencies which help Five Eyes. So it is US, it is Canada, it is UK, it's New Zealand and Australia. So English speaking, let's say Western countries have their intelligence coordination. And Five Eyes then definitely has a wide radar which can cover the entire globe. So they also participated. So this is confirmed that Indian agents were involved. And we've been highlighting that.
I mean, not just confirmed what the Indian media and their bravado was suggesting with open chest. Yes, we have done this, and we know what the repercussions would be. But since the US has done this, we should do it as well.
Yeah, maybe I think media is very, very, I would say, naive. That you never acknowledge such things. But people like Gaurav Arya and others, like they were linking some of the six assassinations to, this Bishnoi gang.
Yes.
Remember Lawrence Bishnoi, and saying that he can do it from here and he will do this and that. Anyways, so one is there was assassination in Canada. Then there was also, I think, poisoning of Atar Singh Khanda in UK. And then I think Rishi Sunak was the Prime Minister.
Yes.
So definitely he did cover that. Maybe that also comes out. And I think main thing to worry was that now the West realized that India has, I think, basically come out of its shoes and is trying to punch above its weight. And now they are targeting Canadian and American citizens in their land. So this is, I think, unacceptable, because they are answerable. Whatever the relationship, they are answerable to their people. And if they allow the death squads, and as I always say that one, it was sanctioned at the highest level, so it means Prime Minister's office is involved.
Mm-hmm.
If it is intelligence involved, let's say research analysis wing, because I think it's very clearly mentioned. If Goyal is also being summoned, so it means head of the RAW is being summoned, and then of course their agents. So then comes, it was being done very blatantly through their embassies in Canada and US.
Mhm.
So it means that Ministry of External Affairs is involved. I'm sure sometime later, I think Mr. Uh, the External Affairs Minister will also be, summoned. I feel that they should also summon him. And if you link it with Qatar, what happened with the espionage and sabotage effort against Qatari Navy
Mhm.
by I think 8 very senior naval officers. Maybe they were retired, but definitely they were from the government. So it means Ministry of Defense is on board.
Mhm.
So it means that it's being done at high level. So that's the worry. Timings are important because now when you have UNGA, there's a lot of pressure on India, and there are reports now that Indian artillery ammunition now has landed up in Ukraine.
Yeah, this is the second part of the question. So we have U.S. pressure on India. Everybody knows it. Mr. Modi did visit, Kyiv in order to support Ukraine in this times of desperate need. And then they've also shown U.S. a cold nose, a cold shoulder when it comes to relations with Russia or as well as with China. And they're supposed to be the so-called tiger of the Pacific Alliance, but some Western journalists do call it the paper tiger. So, keeping in view all that, you are supplying weapons to Ukrainians against the Russians, knowing very well that yes, they will be used against the Russians. Then you are also facilitating the American government in investigating your own officers. I remember a US plane did land inside India, and the Ministry of External Affairs even tweeted it out that the US team is trying to, investigate, and we are going to facilitate as much as we can. And now they are denying it when it comes to the lawsuit against them, that such individuals had nothing to do with it. So it seems like Indian policy, or at arm's length, they are very confused right now.
Yeah, I think there is a confusion, and this is because of so-called multi-alignment. But you do multi-alignment. Like
Hmm.
you can have relationship with different blocks or different countries, but don't try to hoodwink people.
Hmm.
Now, if you look at the picture where Ajit Doval is sitting in front of Putin, and I think then he also, like a schoolboy who was told by the headmaster that you've done something wrong, not done the homework now, give the explanation, and he was hardly touching the chair.
Hmm.
Very uncomfortable. Maybe I think Russians were asking that what are you doing in addition to artillery ammunition, or I think what was Modi doing in Ukraine and why you had such a such stance. So mainly they try to play fast with the West and with the Russians.
Hmm.
And I always say when you have your feet in two boats which are moving in opposite directions, so you have a very uncomfortable position. So I think that bluff has been called by both
Hmm.
Russians and Americans. Of course, there is a stick and carrot policy by the Americans, like they're offering F-16s or
Hmm.
some military deal. If you look at Bangladesh crisis, and the revolution was mainly brought by the students, but Indians are very openly blaming the deep state, and then on social media they're clearly mentioning that was CIA who did it. Basically, they wanted to, let's say, undermine Indian influence in Bangladesh. So I would say that they are one definitely confused, and uh, mainly if you want to be a big power, you start behaving, like a big power. But I don't think so. They have that much guts or even economic capacity or diplomatic prowess to meet the challenges of I think third decade of 21st century. So that's why they are getting bashed from even when there was, I think Putin did, I think, help, because we have in I think 15th October we are having the SCO summit in Pakistan, and after 1 week they are going to have the BRICS summit, in which even Pakistan has been, I think maybe Russia is going to help to uh, get Pakistan into BRICS. Maybe Indians will oppose. So in these times, I think it's becoming very, very difficult for India to keep a balance. So they are very, very much confused, I would say.
Yeah, and we have also seen Mr. Rahul Gandhi also visit US, and he spoke to different students there as well. Indian media, Indian government is trying to, blame US, China, Israel for changes inside Bangladesh, and the recent, I would say, anti-BJP stance all across the world. Yet they are also facilitating and coming under the same pressure again and again. So as you mentioned, that's the pressure. Now, what I was mentioning previously, the Bangladeshi cricket team is here as well. We know that the Indians have started to, cut off the supply chain when it comes to Bangladesh, especially electricity, which is vital for their industry. Uh, the when during the monsoon floods, they, you know, completely flooded the Ganges River, opened up their barrages, and a lot of Bangladeshi crops and their resources infrastructure was damaged. And then there was an attempted mutiny amongst the Bangladeshi paramilitary forces. So now the Bangladeshi cricket team is here as well. How do you foresee this series take place? Would the Hindu extremist mindset prevail in actually arranging a false flag attack and then blaming it on some other country?
And there, I think, a lot of chances. There could be three or four reasons. One is that Modi was in occupied Kashmir, the elections are taking place. South of Punjab, there's a resistance.
Hmm.
Manipur is burning. South India is angry. And even Naxals are, basically looking at another uprising. So India is in for a big trouble. So Bangladesh team, when it was announced that India is going to host them, they were announcement by right-wing groups like Yati and Narsingh Anand,
Mm-hmm.
and Vishwa Hindu Pressure, then Sanatan Sanstha, and who not. So, and they said that it will be over our dead body, something like that, in case this takes place.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that there's an environment already created. One is, of course, there will be pressure on Bangladeshi team's mind, and I think we also have seen some security advisory issued by the Indian intelligence, which is there on the media, that probably ISIS. And probably they mentioned ISI, but mainly it's ISIS or the terrorist group are going to attack during the matches. So it means that they could do it, and they could actually, I think, score as they say, basically scoring or achieving their objectives. Three objectives. One is, of course, appease the uh, Indian right wing,
Mm-hmm.
that okay, and maybe they cancel the Bangladesh series due to security reasons later on. Number two, which is a larger game, is as I mentioned, SCO conference, Apex conference taking place in Pakistan, followed by BRICS, where Pakistan is going to be invited. So they would like to paint, maybe do a false flag, blame it on ISIS, and then link it with ISI, which is the normal toolkit of India. And then of course take this to international forum, make a lot of hue and cry on the media. I think they are quite capable of doing it. They can lie from their teeth with confidence, and that's how they basically undermine Pakistan diplomatic efforts. And then of course is that India will be able to justify elections in occupied Kashmir. Maybe tell the Kashmiri people also that basically terrorism coming from cross border. Although there have been no attacks, there are indigenous people who are fighting. We have discussed the joint resistance,
Mm-hmm.
how they are pinning down the Indian military, more than 1 million military, highly militarized zone. So I think they are in for a big trouble. Good thing is this thing has come out. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
being discussed in Bangladesh. Pakistan is aware, and by and large the world knows it. And people are focused on what is happening in Middle East or in Ukraine. Nobody gives too much attention to what India does, and by and large people understand that their media and their establishment is very fond of false flags. And if you look at the pattern last 10 years, every time Pakistan was going to General Assembly or there was a huge big conference coming, there are big visitor coming to Pakistan or Pakistani delegations or senior leadership going to other country, there will be some false flag.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is their old toolkit.
So, what about the Indian ammunition being exported to Ukraine? According to Reuters, they just received that India is predominantly neutral when it comes to this war. I heard Mr. Zelensky completely humiliated Modi when he said that there is no neutral board, there is just one board, and it is us.
Yes.
So, was he took that pressure and just gave into it or something like that?
As I mentioned, multi-alignment is not bad because look at power shift. Now you have, and this happened before First World War and before Second World
But
War.
it's such a big economy. It has massive technology, manufacturing, almost everything. India is one of the biggest economies in the world these days. It gives tough competition to Europe, to America, to China, to Russia as well. So why are they coming under pressure?
Yeah, I think this Bania mentality to make money.
Mhm.
And even if you look at their vloggers and social, they simply talk of money. give money to Taliban, give so many dollars to, Dr. Yunus, and you can get it. They think, sun shines from Moody's head. It doesn't shine from Moody's head. Mainly, I think it's basically money. If you look at Russian oil, they imported it on very, I think, lower rates, and then refined it and then exported it to Europe. Maybe Europeans are happy because there is an energy crisis. And now you have, and this ammunition, artillery ammunition, Indian artillery ammunition, has been going to Ukraine for the last 1 year.
Yes.
There were warnings from the Russians that you were talking of neutrality, but now you are, basically supplying ammunition. There is a law, I think, in Indian exports also. They have rules that you can, one, of course, the second party buying it cannot export it to third party. In case there is anything, then they have to ask Indians, and in case it doesn't go against their policy, then they can stop it. So India for 1 year has not stopped it. And now, why this news is being brought out by Reuters? Again, Moody's going there to US, and there is SCO and BRICS thing coming up. So they would also like to, muddy the water, which is already, I would say, muddied. But main thing is that, and they have been blaming Pakistan. At time, Pakistan was supplying ammunition to Israel or Ukraine, which is totally false. Even, I think, Israelis have been receiving ammunition from India.
Yes.
So it is, I think, very, very absurd. But it's a clever strategy that you do it, every, negative thing yourself. You supply ammunition to Israel, you supply ammunition to Ukraine, and then you blame Pakistan. just look at, they're trying to clever, but you can't fool all the people all the time.
Yeah. So that's it for today, folks. Please do leave a like and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much for watching us. Bye-bye.